Good to go.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the very first ever Beige Carpet After Party live stream review. This version being on the live format right here on YouTube. So for everybody who's tuning in, watching us live, thank you so much for being here and hanging out, and welcome to the party. And a couple of things I want to throw out here before we get started is that, of course, with chat being here, we want you guys to ask questions. So, you know, we're going to be talking about things that are going on in the live stream. I'm going to be showing you some slides. And then I want you to ask questions. So if you have a question, feel free to pop up with it. And I'm going to be paying attention to chat as much as I can. And we will try and, try and address those questions. So there you have it. We're here for you. We've got some brand new guests, some folks who've never been here with us. We're gonna let them go ahead and say hello. I'm gonna start off with Galaxy Bro. So Galaxy Bro, tell us who you are, what's up with you, how do you play this game? Tell us about yourself.
All right, definitely had MK saying, Galaxy Bro, first time listener. I see you in chat, MK. Anyways, hello everybody. I'm Galaxy Bro. You can call me Galaxy or just my full name, whatever suits your boat. I am a casual FFBE player. I've been playing FFBE since September of 2016. Still not day one, but year one. Still a long time. And I'm just a big fan of role-playing games. That's how I got into this Final Fantasy game. I've been into, my favorite is Final Fantasy 15. First game I played was Final Fantasy 10. I've played many others. And just to put some beans out there, I'm also a cosplayer. And I've only done a few cosplays thus far. I definitely plan to add more in the future. So glad to be here and great to meet everyone here.
I'm really glad you're here too. One thing he didn't say is that he's a big part of our Twitch community as well. So big supporter over on Twitch, and I really appreciate you being pretty much the longest running subscriber on Twitch that we have. So big shout out and thank you for that. So I really do appreciate it.
If I had known that little fact about me, I would have said so.
There you go.
Thank you for reminding me.
There you go. There you go. And let's go ahead and move on down the line. Fabs, say hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? First, props to you on that Twitch situation there, Galaxy Bro. Truly a bro. Anyway, as some of you may already know, it's IW Fabs here. I just go by Fabs. The IW comes from the group that I always have in my heart, Indomitable Warriors, which is why I love Frostlord now. About myself, I kind of just pop in and out of groups and chats here and there, just trying to drop some ways I figure some clears will help people out, and just try to get my little input on how people can clear things. That's about it.
Good deal. Good deal. And last but certainly not least, Sinzar, say hello.
What's up, guys? Thanks again for inviting me, Gert. Talk about the live stream. Very exciting. Yeah, I think people at this point kind of know who I am. I've been on here a few times, and I'm glad to be back.
We definitely enjoy having you here. We missed you last month. With the Ong review, but now we've got 3 more units to talk about, and we're gonna dive straight in. They brought us a lot of information about this new storyline, Esper of Destruction. Before we dive into it, have you guys played Chapter 1 yet? I know Chapter 1 just came out a couple days ago.
I have played Chapter 1 and was a little surprised there was literally just one battle in it. Well, maybe I'm not surprised. They might have done the same thing with Dark Lineage. So yeah, it's
just one battle. I haven't played it yet. I'll go ahead and say that now. I have not played it yet. I'm kind of waiting for it all to come out. There's only one battle?
Only in the first chapter. I think I've kind of spoiled it for Gert, so my bad there.
Hey,
but
it's okay. But yeah, that's kind of wild. Well, I'm glad I didn't do a preppers video about it because there's only one fight. So
yeah, because I played through this whole event on JP, and while it was coming out on JP, I was reading the translations from fans and all. So because I've already done it all the entire way through on global, I ran it, but I just hit the skip button. I've already seen it.
Okay. Good deal. Well, they started us out strong with new units arriving March 7th. We've got Esper of Destruction, Rain, and Fina. Made a lot of comments on the fact that they are blue. They also told us that we have on March 14th Lasswell Esper of Destruction coming out, of course with the new rarity Neo Vision Plus Awakenable. What do you guys think? There's been a lot of discussion, right? Should I pull or should I save for Neo Vision Plus? Now we're here. Now that we've seen what we've seen, do you guys think people should have been saving, or should people just been kind of been playing normally?
Well, if they are a try-hard Dark Visions player, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, I personally am as well. But if you really try in Dark Visions, yes, you should have been saving, and you should have been going for the Water Party because you want that to get really good. But about a week ago, we got news that we're not getting Dark Visions until the end of May. That's 3 months of no Dark Visions, and by the time it comes back, these units are just no longer the meta. So I think they went from you need them to get high rank to they have no use whatsoever. Because by the time Dark Visions comes back, we're already into the dark meta with Fae and all that. So I would say no at this point.
What if though? So a lot of people were talking about that Dark Visions is the one where everything's an aquatic, right? Is the one that everyone was saving for. So what if that's the one that they bring in May?
Well, it's still fine because it's not weak to water. They're just aquatics. So you would just put Sarah on your party for the Aqua Killer, and you would just bring the 5 dark units instead of the 5 water units.
Got it. Okay. What about you, Galaxy Pro, Fabs? Were you guys in the save for NV Plus camp, or were you in the just kind of play as you play camp?
Oh my goodness. So I I end up having a gripe with these kind of things. It kind of takes the luster off some of the good stuff because, Marate not the best, but she's still pretty useful. Ang, I mean, I'm gonna be biased for Ang anyway, but Ang is great. But it's kind of sometimes it becomes a thing where no matter what you say, they're not that good because NV Plus is coming. So now I'm kind of glad that we're just getting this behind us. We're out of it. It's over with. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of these things that we know is coming from JP that are supposed to be great kind of takes the shine away from stuff that is good now and could have a little bit of longevity, but people don't care because the next great thing is on the way.
Yeah.
And how I reference that, I tell people it's kind of like when the first 5-star base Hyul was coming, and no matter what was happening, save for Hyul, save for Hyul, save for Hyul. And now that was NV Plus was that new version of that. So I'm just kind of glad that's done and over with, to be honest.
Yeah. What about you, Galaxy Bro?
All right, my take on this, save for Neo Visions Plus or just spend. I took a risk when, I definitely wanted to save for Neo Visions Plus. I knew that was going to be the new meta, but I took a risk by the last unit I pulled for was True King Noctis. So obviously it wasn't that long ago. Thankfully it wasn't a huge loss. I ended up getting EX plus 2 Noctis without pity, so kind of paid off there. And I haven't pulled since. I have been saving tickets. I still have over 200 tickets from the I think the Facebook compensation, whatever.
Wow.
So that I still have that I could use, but I'm not sure if I want to. I guess I have until Thursday to make that decision.
Yeah. Real quick question from chat. MK popped up and said, "Oh, I didn't hear about the Dark Visions delay." Where that's coming from is the monthly bulletin for the month. So like it just shows that there is no Dark Visions this month, basically.
Just a small correction, Gert. You can check in game.
Mm-hmm.
The end date for the current Dark Visions with the rank viewing is May 22nd. And
there's that too.
We just know from the way the game works is as long as that's open, they cannot open another Dark Visions. And because that'll be open until May 22nd, then there's just nothing. There's nothing. That also means no Vision World, by the way, because Vision World shares
the same run system. Yeah.
Yeah. So no Vision World, no Dark Visions for almost 3 months.
Yeah.
Like this has been not an ongoing, a escalating problem of content being taken away. So Dark Visions is the latest victim of the content killer on global. They're just they're taking everything away, my lord.
Well, here's
face palming over here over that.
I know. Here's what we should have been saving for, right? So they tell us about Rain, his Limit Burst, and Super Limit Burst, Galaxius, Nova, and Tidal Explosion. No numbers on this SLB, so we just assume the numbers are just a little bit bigger. Back to Large Swords, 35% Imperil, Defense Break 80%, Water Imperil, Water Damage, and we just assume kind of bigger numbers on the SLB, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And then they showed his featured ability adds water to his own attack, boosts his damage, and modifier boost. They were real specific about this. This was a 3-turn, and then real specific that this elemental burst was a 2-turn, which we're already kind of used to. So I don't know that we needed to be that specific. But those are kind of like the abilities that they mentioned as so a water damage dealer. Now this says boosts water damage of LB abilities and magic. So is this version of Rain a magic damage dealer?
No, he's a physical damage. He might have like water gun in his kit, but he's physical.
Okay, I thought I heard Tony say something at one point that made me think water. So or magic. So I was kind of confused, but it just seems weird. So there you go. Rain's got all the things you would want a water damage dealer to have. And a leader skill too. So he's got the leader skill, attack and magic 900%, defense and spirit 200 for JP anniversary, Clash of Wills water, Clash of Wills support, and just generic water, or in Clash of Wills settings 1200 and 750 respectively. So he's getting a little bit of a global upgrade. What do we think?
I think in reality it's more of a downgrade than an upgrade. Because and this is something that I kind of disagreed with the chat earlier, because a lot of people were saying upgrade. I see it as a downgrade because so you're gonna get the only units that are gonna go on that party would be Aang and Chow potentially. And Chow doesn't even fit if you go with the whole water party. And if we get a Roos. No, never mind. I'm sorry. Aang replaces Roos. Mm-hmm. So, like the water meta party, all of them fall under his leader skill, the JP anniversary. The only one that wouldn't is Aang, and Aang is only if you don't take Roos, which is Aang is definitely better than Roos, no question. But you're losing that leader skill for the entire party just to give one unit 150 more attack power. And you're losing 100% on 4 other units. So that's a downgrade, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. What they should have done is left it alone at 1,000 JP anniversary, and then just bumped water to 1,000 as well. Like, that's not going to break anything, because going forward, all the leader skills are 1,000 anyway. Like the Gathering, the Rebels, and the other, like they're all 1,000. And Rain's premium. The other ones aren't even premium. So, like, the premium unit is at 900, while the non-premiums coming in like a week and a half are going to be 1,000 for whole categories, and it's so stupid.
So he was 1,000 in JP then?
Yes, in JP is 1,000.
There's the downgrade. Okay. unless you're taking him to Clash of Wills, where it's a slight upgrade, but not. I mean, it's a little bit better, but he doesn't have the whole Clash of Wills category. He only has limited Clash of Wills categories.
Exactly.
And that's what I was going to get to.
Go ahead, David.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cesar.
I was going to say the 1200 on Clash of Wills is such a trap. That is such a trap. Because you are never taking this guy to Clash of Wills. He has no utility whatsoever. His damage is not that good. Like, again, the comparison of him versus Aang blows him away in Clash of Wills with, even though his leader skill is 200 less. Because Aang's is for all Clash of Wills. His is not. His is exclusively water units. Meaning you can't take Richt, Hyo, Frost, Aya, etc. All these units, not to mention your tank. Well, I'm sorry, no, tanks have Clash of Wills support. They're fine. But, like, it's so narrow, you are not taking a pure water party to Clash of Wills. You are taking the other Clash of Wills units. So, like, he is not going to be your Clash of Wills leader. Aang is going to be.
Yeah.
Now, unless I missed something, if you're going to have a party that needs Elena, then Rain won't do anything for her either. Because as far as I know, she still doesn't have a support tag.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I said with tanks. Because I was thinking Elena in my head, but I forgot the rest of the tanks have it. But Elena doesn't.
The good tanks. Yeah. So
hey, she's not that bad.
What if though? So they didn't tell us any about him getting any additional skills though, right? So like when they announced Flaring Ether Rain, they mentioned that about all these this Clash of Will utility, morale per turn, his special buff, his attack that he does. Like they mentioned all this stuff. They didn't mention any of that here, so chances are good probably not getting it, right?
Correct. That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
I think if he is getting it, they would preview it in the news, like in-game news in a couple days, but probably not.
Yeah.
And just to address a question in chat by Nami, yes, it is definitely possible that they just slap on the generic Clash upgrade where he gets 1,000 morale per turn and his modifier goes up by 200. Even if they do that, in my opinion, he still dramatically loses to Aang.
Yeah.
As a Clash of Wills unit. Like, even if Ramza does get, the Deity Tybus, the Void Mage Roga treatment, it's still not enough. Like, nowhere near enough.
Yeah, once he's no longer Focus Plus, his LB goes back to being just run of the mill. So
yeah,
you won't be doing much there.
Which they talked about some changes to Focus Plus and stuff like that, which we'll talk about that in a little bit too. Here's Rain's gear. So his TMR and STMR. The Cyan Saber is a 242 two-handed attack. Looks like a great sword. That gives Rain an additional 500 attack and killers for beasts and humanoids at 75% for everybody. Or his TMR is a 50% aquatic killer with physical and magic and 100% attack true double hand. What do we think about these?
Standard.
It's
standard. Like, I think the flat stats on the STMR stored there is just underwhelming. 500, like, generic. We're used to that.
well. Plus, there are units recently who've gotten 1,000. Like, yeah, whack. I do like the killer though. So like, I would say if you get multiple copies of Rain, get multiple copies of this TMR. I mean, aquatic killer's pretty rare, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having at least 2 of them either.
Here's his vision card. Its max level is 1, so we know Rain's premium, right? He's got 80% attack and magic, 500 attack and magic for water category, and 500 more attack and magic for FFBE category. It's a 170 card.
Yeah, the one thing I want to point out is both him and Fina, they're actually 1,000 flat stats if you match both categories,
Yes.
which is a small amount of units, but the ones that do, these cards are now the best in slot for those very few units.
Those do stack. That was a question
okay.
that I had.
Yes, if you match both categories, because there's 2 different requirements.
Right.
Yeah, but they stack.
Very cool. But if you're just a water unit, you still get 500 attack and magic and 80% attack and magic, which is nice.
So for people that want to make their Aang as best as possible, he's a Water Brave Exvius unit.
There you go. And
Just like how like the vision cards of the one we got with Chow, and I think the Hio vision card as well. And the first passive is like they give 500 flat for everybody, but then the last one is exclusive to either unit where you get 1,000 extra stacks the same way, just as this one.
Very good. Very good. So Rain was not the only unit that we got. They talked about Fina as well. So here's Fina. They showed us this ability, Lend Us Your Strength, Leviathan, which boosts light damage for LB's abilities, magic and damage, and reduces her own spirit, boosts magic for the next attack. So she is a magic attacker, right? A light magic attacker?
Yes.
Okay. And she's also got Elemental Burst Plus, or Elemental Burst Light, rather, at EX2. So no surprises there. And here's her leader skill. So her leader skill is attack and magic 1000, defense spirit 200 for blessings. And then attack and magic 750 and defense and spirit 200 for light. So she's really only buffing up blessings of the crystals and light category.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right now there's not too many good crystal units. There's a few, but going forward, a bunch in a row get released, and they're all under her leader skill.
Okay. And are they also light category, or are they this kind of mix around?
Well, they're all, for example, the ones that are all the Neo Plus units in the near future are going to be crystal, even though some are water. Like Lasswell's water, but he's still a crystal unit. So if you, for example, pull for Rain, but you get Fina instead, she can still be the leader. It won't be quite as good because it won't, elementally match. I will mention, though, that she's not, like, the final step for the light leader skill. That would be Yuna down the road. She's, like, two months away. She's 1,000 for all lights, and she does the Amplify, whereas Fina does not.
Okay. Because she's more of a damage dealer more than a supporter.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. So we got a question. How rough is it to pity Neovisions Plus units? So the trouble with the live stream, and there were a lot of people asking for this in chat, is that they did not actually talk at all about the banner structure or like the pity system or the cost of the units. We can make some guesses based on JP, but I mean JP is totally different, right? So like Senzar, I think you're the only person who's done anything in JP. Can you tell us a little bit what JP's version of it was like?
So in JP, and again, as Gert said, Global never copies JP's banner system. But just, for a point of comparison, in JP, you have two options. You can either go for the pity of Neovisions Plus, which will cost you 60,000 pulling on just raw banners, just raw 5Ks, no perks whatsoever. At 60K of that, we'll give you the pity, guaranteed. Or you can go for their version of the step up, which gives like 100 shards and a bunch of guarantees and higher rates and all that kind of stuff. That'll be, I think that's 30K for the step up, and then there's a secondary banner as well. I forget, but there's no pity whatsoever, and that will not count towards their pity. So you go one or the other, or you can do both, but that'll cost like 100K.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how JP does, and Global never ever copies JP's format, so we're not going to get that. So Global's definitely going to do their own thing, and like Gert said, they didn't say what they're going to do.
Right. I would expect to see more about that on Tuesday. Back to it. Here's Fina's TMR and STMR. We've got an unstackable TMR, magic 50%, water and light resistance 50, or her bow, which is a 232, basically a 232 magic bow, with 500 magic and 50 LB damage, and fills LB gauge 400% for her. Is she also an SLB, by the way? I think
she is.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like the LB gauge per turn almost never matters on an SLB unit, because really you get your SLB anyway, like when you need to use it. But
for the most part.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just more meh.
Just more meh. She also has a vision card. This one is also max level 100 or level 1, 170 attack and magic, 80% attack and magic, and then for light category and JP category, anniversary JP category, they each get attack and magic 500. So it's very similar to Rain's. It's just light and JP anniversary instead. So a little bit more narrow.
Hers is very, very limited in who wants to use it. Like herself and Knights of Grand Shelp, that's basically it. Because,
I mean, wouldn't Richt... Well, no, Rick wouldn't fall in that category.
Rick's not
He's
JP.
not JP anniversary. Yeah, so there's like nobody there, really. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Kind of sad to see that these vision cards don't have like LB damage on them or anything.
Good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. Now, the attack and magic 80% does matter for some units though going forward, right? Like if they fall in the right category.
For the most part, for Neovisions Plus, that's actually a lot more valuable than LB damage because the cap becomes 600 and it's a lot harder to hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very good point there.
Yeah, so many units. Like if you look at like Aang, for example, I was just messing with Aang earlier and just kind of like really quickie building him for something, and like he caps his attack and LB damage and true double hand like really easy. Now he's not a JP unit, but like a lot of times modern units do cap all the stuff that they need to have like really easily to this point. So, but I guess that could change in the future. And the future is here, right? So we're evolving even further beyond with the new rarity Neovisions Plus. And here's the first two that we're going to get. We're going to get Lasswell and Avalanche Tifa. So Lasswell is obviously new. Tifa is has been around for a while. And then they told us what does this actually mean? So a couple of things are going to be adjusted. Parameter and ability multiplier limits go from 400 to 600. The unit's level goes up to 130, which I believe stacks with your Cactars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yep,
you could go up to 140.
Yep.
And then your LB goes up to level 50. So on top of like just having bigger modifiers and everything like the stats are just much bigger.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know how I missed a good Super Saiyan 3 reference there.
Oh, I know.
Going even further beyond it. I did not catch that until just now.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What were you going to say, Sinzar?
I was going to mention that hopefully people have saved up their LB pots because it's pretty expensive to go from 40 to 50. Like you need a lot of pots. So, like, if you just randomly max out the LB on going forward on all the Neovisions Awakened Plus, like you're going to run out pretty quick.
That's a very important safety tip. So don't just awaken everything on everybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm afraid as a casual player, I don't have all the limit burst pots in the world, so this might be a real struggle for me.
Well, what would make getting limit burst pots and stuff like that easier is if we actually got raids and stuff instead of skipped content.
Exactly.
Ouch.
So hypothetically, for the people who know me, that this is already a problem. Hypothetically, let's say we awaken all the LBs. How bad will this problem be?
Well, the good thing is Global did put in, and I'm pretty sure it's unlimited, at least as far as you own them, but the green EX coins, you can trade for LB pots. So, and I personally have a bunch of them, and when I run out of, I actually usually buy the HP pots there, but there's LB pots there too. So as long as you're getting your EX coins, the green ones, you can spend them. It's still not unlimited. It shouldn't. You shouldn't like run dry unless you just literally awaken everybody. Then I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
It'll be like everything else. For the first few months, you only want to awaken what you use until we kind of get used to it. But I mean, the like I said, the more events and stuff that we cut, like that makes it harder to keep up. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm sweating because we used to get the green EX coins in a bunch of those random events that, just a real quick run in there with a strong party, wipe them out. But we haven't been getting those, so I realize where my stash is looking at right now, and I'm kind of regretting a lot of these LBs I've been leveling.
Oops.
But now that I think about it, I haven't spent my green EX coins in quite a while, so I may have sort of a stash right now. Again, I have to look and see how much I have. Probably still isn't enough to max out one limit burst to level 50, but we'll see.
Definitely good to have that kind of commentary and thought though for either newer players or players who kind of do play kind of casually or maybe don't farm every day because they don't want to log in and do it all day long. It makes sense. So it's good to definitely kind of be mindful of that going forward.
Just go ahead and say it, Gert. The people who actually have a life, you won't hurt my feelings.
Gary, if I could for 1 second,
Yes.
answer a question in chat
Mhm.
from Josh Frame. That's actually a good question, Josh. He's asking if you need an extra set of cactuars to go to level 140. No, that is not the case. When you make a Neovisions Plus, their baseline level becomes 130. So the exact same cactuars are used. You only need 10 per unit. And if, for example, your Tifa is already 130, when you Neovisions Plus her, she now becomes 140. Those 10 cactuars you used are still there, and that's already maxed out. You don't need like 20 cactuars to go from 120 to 140 on a Neo Plus.
Perfect.
It's just the 10.
Very good. And you can actually, if you look closely on the screen, you can see that right here, this picture of Lasswell that I have. It says level 120 out of 130, and they're not like the blue the blue numbers that you usually see when you have them awoken with cactars. So you can see the difference there. On this screen, we also see that characters that are awakened to NB+, they get an ability slot, and some units also give you the ability once you get them to EX3, and so that's what we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But here's an example of this Lasswell with the extra ability slot, and it equipped. And there you have it. This is going to be a good, a potentially controversial issue, I think, and this is how to awaken them to Neovisions Plus. So certain units can be awakened using Gil and Azure Pearls that you use as an awakening material specific to that NB Plus awakening. So we kind of assumed that from JP, because in JP, if I'm not mistaken, there was an event that you would do to kind of farm the pearls. I think they said in this one it's a common material rather than a specific one now. But also there's like looks like they require less of them. However, the issue is, how do you get them? So now they're saying that you only get them from Clash of Wills, Dark Visions, World of Visions, and Exchange Coins, up to 300 of them. Why is this a big deal? Discuss.
Okay, so for me, and I don't want to bog your video. I spent like 20 minutes talking about this in my own little review video.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna drag it out that much. But the thing for me, just to really condense it. Okay, so first of all, the disclaimer: farming these pearls is not exciting. It's boring. It's tedious. It's literally just farming brave insignias. You kill a boss. It's easy. It's not exciting content. The issue I have with it is just one more thing they are taking away from the game. So even though it's not fun, exciting, great, mind-blowing, hard content, it's still content at the end of the day. It's the same thing as them taking raid. We haven't had a raid in forever. It's them taking like the farming events. We didn't get the Secret of Mana farming event. Like we weren't looking forward to the big exciting fight against the Mana Worm. We were going to auto repeat it for 100 times and get our stuff. It was something to do in the game, and when you take that away, the game becomes more and more and more empty. And it's just they're taking away these pearl stages. You got one per week for each new batch of units. At the very least, it was a new sprite to go in OTK each week. It was something to do. Now they're just taking, it's just one more thing to strip out of the game, to where the game is a shell of nothing these days. And I don't like that. So I'm not missing the busy work of farming the pearls. I'm missing the fact that they're taking everything out of the game. And this is just the latest casualty.
And it also, those like stages usually come with a little bit of lapis or something that you get along with it. It's
that too. That too.
Usually
Yeah.
Not, yeah.
Now, when I first saw Sinzar talking about it from the JP side, I got flashes of War of the Visions because that game just got so grindy to me. But I'd rather have some stages to do than for it all to just be locked behind event rewards. Well, like Clash rewards.
Yeah.
And when one says Dark Visions and y'all are talking about 2 weeks until we get the next one, well, that's great.
Well, you mean 2 months till we get the next one?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yes.
2 months. That's
so
what I meant.
it's going to be a while. Now, we should theoretically, we're going to get Clash of Wills this month, but I mean, depending on how many they put in there, it might be difficult. But also, like, if they're putting them in the Clash of Wills rewards, what are they taking out of Clash of Wills rewards? Some people care about those Clash of Wills rewards and some people don't.
And that's
I
what
think-
worries me.
I
Every time
think,
they say
like-
they're adding something to the table, I fear something is coming out.
Yeah. We do have a
The only
question.
Clash of Wills reward I like care about is like them putting Xenostone Shard in the completion rewards. That's just all I care about.
We do have a question from chat. If they, this is listening to Senzar's comment. If they made a permanent raid that we could do, would that help us?
I mean, sure, it's better than not having it, but at the same time, it's the if we had just one raid, it was just like a purple dragon, and he was just there 24 hours a day at all, like Item World, like. It's something to do, but it's the variety. It's the new boss each week. It's the going in there and you're seeing, for Secret of Mana, it's the Mana Worm, and we go and fight him. Versus this, it was the Chaos Bismarck battle. Slight spoilers, not really. And then next time you're fighting against like the guy from War of the Visions for that batch, Jaden Rundle or whatever, the gun guy. Like it's a new boss. They're not hard. It's for veterans. You're gonna OTK them, but it's still cool. Just like. To see the boss, to hear the soundtrack, stuff like that. It's content. It makes the game a reason to log in. So, like, would a permanent raid fix the problem? Not really, because it'd just be a static raid that after a week, we've done him, you've seen him, you're done. You need that new one every single time, every single week.
Yeah, to get the completion rewards and stuff like that.
Well, that too. Yeah, that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So something fun, but it is finally something to use your trust coins for instead of Moogle containers, or Prism Moogles or whatever. So
that's what's hurting my feelings a little bit. I got tired of the cleanup, so I started selling off the 3 and 4 stars now too.
Yeah, cleanup has been bad, that's for sure. But good news, we're getting 600 pearls on March 14th. So that's enough to do 2 units. So everyone's going to get their Tifa awakened automatically. Although maybe you should save them if you're not going to use Tifa. I don't know. We'll see. Now,
feedback from Senzar. Word on the block is most of those, I was going to call them MVAs, but the awakenables, that the old ones, word on the block is they're really not all that useful anyway. So how do you feel about the first few we're going to get?
Well, Tifa, I mean, just by being in Neovisions Plus, she's going to be better than the majority of units. Tifa is actually a special case because this is distant future, but she just got I'm not sure the proper name for it, but the overflow shard system. Tifa got those upgrades as well, and they actually made her a lot better. Now she's got a bunch of new abilities, higher modifiers, etc. But at release, like she's still, for players that probably have her at EX3 already. She's a very competent damage dealer. Is she at the top of the pack? Not really, but she's like within the top 10% easily.
Very cool. So speaking of new units, right? So here's what they told us about Lasswell. He's got his final Mirror of Equity. Boosts 1 use every 2 turns. Deals damage and does partial unmitigated damage to one enemy, and boosts damage of other abilities. So like boosts his modifiers, maybe.
From what they told us, it's just gonna be. It'll be kind of like the abilities from the cards, from the heal card and the Vilk card. Mm-hmm. It'll basically be like those that you can use every other turn. It's not some kind of crazy mod as far as what he told us.
Yeah,
do you remember how heal used to work? Where he had his chaining ability would do the first 7 hits AoE, and then the last one would be single target, or vice versa. It's something like that. In other words, it's not going to be something we really care about because it's not an LB.
Okay.
Yeah, Lasswell is a SOB unit. He does the SOB, the end. Like the rest of the skill shots we use him.
But 1 use per battle, he can give himself a 500% LB damage buff.
Yeah, that's kind of the paradigm shift with Neovisions Plus. They no longer get amplifies, or in the future, they no longer get good amplifies. They instead get overcap LB buffs for themselves, and then they need amplifies externally.
Oh.
Way down the road, the recent Neo Visions Pluses and JP are now getting self-only 100 amplifies, but they still don't have 150s.
Okay.
But the ones early on don't even have that. Like their best is like 30. It's nothing. So you have to have a external amp in your party for those Neo Visions Plus units.
Yep. This is just to answer a question from chat. Lasswell is coming out on March 14th, not this week. So March 14th. You can see that on the screen right now. So where was I? Okay. EX3 Lasswell.
Well, I guess this is good for us compulsive people who pull all the water cards.
There you go.
With the external buffs on them.
There you go. EX3 Lasswell gets this ability that's equipable, right? So it's 500 attack, but only for Royal Arms category units. Is Royal Arms a big category in the Neo Visions Plus era?
There's definitely a few. Himself, I believe Paladins of Grandchelt are Neo Plus. When he awakens, Flaring Rain at Neo Visions Plus can equip this. And again, this is only for that 5th materia slot. This cannot go in the regular slots.
Right, only for that that bonus slot.
Yeah, so you can't put this on Noctis or whatever.
Right.
In the future, there's more. I think the War of the Visions, Neo Visions guy, Jaden is, I think he's Royal Arms, so he could use this. Stuff like that. There's a few others as well. But it's definitely limited. Like a lot of them cannot use it.
Okay. His STMR is an armor with 150 attack that does the preemptive LB boost on it. And then his TMR is a two-handed katana with kind of middling stats, but 1,000 more for him, so it's decent for him. And 75% aquatic killer, so kind of makes sense with the theme. At least it's not a two-handed weapon STMR, though. Yeah. And then his vision card is has really cool art, I think. But it's 50% attack for everybody, 50% more attack for everybody, and then 500 attack for FFBE units. But it's only 130 base attack.
Yeah, this is pretty much the theme of Neo Visions Pluses. They're intended to be major steps back from what we're used to. So their cards are terrible. They have no leader skill whatsoever. They have no personal support. Their weapon and perils are either non-existent or very, very low. Like, they need all the hand-holding, but if you give them all of that, they hit real hard. But they bring, like, nothing to a party except damage. And including, like, their gear, leader, like, all of it is just bad. Vision card included.
Okay. And so...
it makes sense from a sales point. If you put all the stuff on MV Plus, then you wouldn't care about the rest of them. So I see why they did it. I'm not a fan of it, but I see why they did it.
Yeah, it just seems weird, right? Because like the cool new unit is not premium. The other units are premium, and he's just a regular unit that can go to MV Plus. I don't know.
Although keep in mind, the premium thing is more of like a player designation. Like, they don't call them that.
Right.
But in terms of pricing and shard availability, at least in JP, like, they're even more rarer or whatever. Like, you can't even buy their shards in the JP shard shop, or you can buy premium shards there. So like, they are much rarer and more expensive than, so they're like double premium.
Yeah.
So to speak.
To answer a question in chat, yes, they are basically just a beat stick.
Yep.
Okay. Now, they told us a little bit about Tifa, but they didn't showcase any new abilities or anything. Basically, just getting increased stats and a bigger LB level is what they said. Does she get anything else new?
No. It's the same thing with all the Neo Business Pluses. They don't get. Okay, well, that's not entirely true. A few of them, JP upgraded the base unit that's not related to Neo Business Plus. For example, Flaring Rain got an external 100 fire amplify, but that's just all Flaring Rains, period. But he got that at the same time that he could be awakened. But the early ones, no. They just, all that changes is the Neo Business Plus framework. So higher stat cap, the level 50 LB mod, which increases the modifier, stuff like that. But as far as abilities and playstyle, exactly the same.
And she's got swirling water particles around her feet. Enjoy.
I thought Avalanche Tifa Sprite already had that, just as a Neovision base. thought she might have already had that. But was I seeing things?
I don't know. I haven't used her in so long, and I definitely haven't even used her like base form in even longer. So I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I haven't used her in forever either.
Is there going to? This is a great question from chat. Is there going to be content that requires these Neovision pluses? Can people get by with just regular Neovisions? I mean, that's
Okay, so
that's a hard question to answer.
yes, it's okay. So, and this is not me trying to be condescending at all, but a person that would be asking that is not the kind of person that can do it without Neovisions Plus. Meaning, can you beat like the EX stages without in the turn chart without Neovisions Plus? Technically, yes, but it is extremely hard. And in JP, quite a few of them, I consider my JP account relatively strong. I still couldn't do it without the Neovisions Plus. On a few of them, some of them I could, but some of them, in the very early on, it doesn't. It's just like how it always been new rarity. Early on, they're still easy, but like a month down the road, like that 5-turn limit, if you don't have any Neovisions Plus by then, you're probably not getting a 5-turn limit complete. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I also think there's an extra layer here. If we don't get the content, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a huge thing as well.
Yes.
Also, even if we do get it, very often lately, Global has been taking away the restrictions. So, for example, that 5-turn mission that says you can only use gathering units and do it in 5 turns. Well, Global has been taking away that gathering lock where you can just take anyone into the stage. Like, JP will hard lock you out of taking anyone but gathering, which is why it's so hard. That's just an example, but, the categories.
Yeah.
Global usually just takes that restriction just away entirely, where you can take in like Hyo and Frost Veritas, and then all of a sudden it's easy with old Neovisions because you've got the strong regular units.
Yeah. Now, this is maybe a little bit of an aside. Are you still at this point? Because I know for a long time in JP you were using like Noctis as your main damage, right? Are you are you still doing that?
To be honest, I have, for the most part, you can call it like quit or retired or taking a break, but I haven't really logged into JP in like a month.
Yeah.
Because I just got burnt out on the grind, and JP is on this collaboration train. Every single week is a collaboration. It burnt me out, and I just stopped logging in.
Sure.
So I didn't like quit because I can just log back in anytime I want to, but I've not been playing for about a month.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of logging in, what I think would get you and me and most players to log in is what's going to be going on for the next bit of time here. Collect up to 385 units for free with 3 rainbows or Neovisions guaranteed every day. Free units. It's awesome.
Pretty good.
I'm excited about it. It's a lot of inventory management, but I'm excited about it. Hey, Fabs, this will get you some more of those trust coins.
I was trying to hold my peace, but these weekly pools have been trashed, so
The weeklies have been so
about
bad.
this right now.
I have actually gotten 2 Neos out of the weekly pulls, which has been I think pretty good. But yeah, they've been pretty bad from what I've been hearing from lots of people. So
Yeah, it's
Weekly
been
polls
rough,
have been
man.
bad for me also. And speaking of this daily poll, I can't wait to see like Gert, your video of like you doing all the summons, on the final day where it's available. Can't wait to see what you get. And see if your luck is better or worse than mine.
I actually usually do. So whenever we have one of these like free login things, I usually do record them every day or every week. It's kind of a pain, but I feel like it's worth it because there's I can't remember whose name it is, but somebody always comes in when I post it and they post like a breakdown of what my actual percentage of like blues, yellows, and rainbows was. And like it's usually like really, really indicative that my luck is just terrible. And like I just like the validation that my luck is that bad. So I'm still excited. I mean, free units is free units. So maybe we'll get some Neovisions pluses in there. That'd be nice. Get us some last
Yeah,
ones.
I'm not gonna complain about free.
Well, can I give you guys some jealousy? This week from Video Summons, I got Great Mage Papoy.
Oh man, I haven't gotten an on banner.
Let me
Daily
add to
video
that just
summons
for a little bit.
since lock.
Like It wasn't this week, but it was like last week when the first week the Mana collab was going on. I got EX +2 Prim strictly from video summons. Didn't even spend VIP coins to get a fragment or anything. Just strictly Prim from video summons. Like, why so many Prims? What is going on here? Why couldn't I have gotten Divine Archer Aang instead?
Yeah,
because that's what I want instead.
Well, I actually
instead I get Prim.
I actually have gotten a lot of Neos. They've just been things like Milo. You know, it's like I don't need this.
Oh, feels bad.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yes. Somebody said, Huxley in chat says Sinzar's Papoy clears inbound. Yes, please.
I did not even buy the VIP coin. She's staying at EX1 or he.
I think she or he kind of goes back and forth depending on what game and what version you play.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then they took that moment to say, hey, this is the end of the discussion for new units, and this is, I'm not gonna say like I lost interest at this point, but like this is where I got really surprised that this was the end of the new stuff. Like they have not done a live stream that did not address what the new character was for like Clash of Wills in a long time. Now granted, this is the beginning of the month and Clash is probably closer to the end, but like I'm just really surprised that they didn't do kind of like they did with the Dark Lineage event where they showed us Ibarra and they showed us the Dark Lineage characters. I'm just really surprised they didn't lump it all together, especially with an hour and a half scheduled. So what are you guys' thoughts about that? I mean, are you just as surprised as me? Do I need to like get off that horse? Like, what do you think?
I think the announcement of a really hyped global exclusive NeoVisions Plus would have made people leave this live stream with a much better taste in their mouth than they did. Because there was like nothing in this stream, and like at the very least close it out with, here's this super hype unit that you're going to look forward to and feel good about. Now, of course, I know why they didn't do that. The minute they do that, then all the sales for like Rain and Fina just go to zero. as the whole community saves for the global unit. So I know why they didn't, but oh my god, they still should have.
And unless they also come out and be like, guess who the two Focus Plus units are this month, and there's only two of them, and it's Rain and Fina, and then Lasswell. You know, that's the only way to make them wanted. But yeah, I get it. It's just annoying. So. But they did bring out another member of the team. They brought out Taguchi-san, who talked about story events and like the scenario development and the process of how to create all that. And I don't want to put up a bunch of slides and stuff, but I thought it was really cool that they had another member of the team and just like letting us get to know people who are involved in creating this stuff. And I like that they talked about how much work it really goes into to create the create the story and how far back it went that they were starting on it, and all the steps and checks that they have to go through to like get approval for like a lore perspective and like kind of making sure that everything makes sense. It was kind of neat to listen to. One thing they did show us was some really cool art from the event. I really love this picture of Bismarck and Leviathan fighting each other. It looks really, really cool. And yeah.
So can I just real quickly say, I swear to you, that art for right there, the Bismarck, looks just like I forget his name, the guy in Final Fantasy X that swallows Titus early in the game, the big fish.
Sin?
No, not Sin. The one when he's stranded early in the game. Can't think of the guy's name. It starts with a G.
Oh, I don't think I can think of that guy's name either.
It looks just like him, doesn't it?
I like the coloring of it though. Like it harkens back to do you remember a couple months back Chow's boss in Clash of Wills? It was like kind of like a blue and black like spirit dog. Like the coloring of it looks like that, and I thought that was a really cool boss. But yeah, I think both these pieces of art are really cool.
I think the Bismarck and Leviathan wallpaper, I actually found something that I can use like as a background, and so I have it doesn't look exactly like that, but I do have a background of Leviathan and Bismarck just saved in my phone, and it's really good art. I love it.
Looks awesome. Then they showed us, what is this next picture? Oh, they showed us that we are getting a series event, United with the Water God, starting on the 7th. They're giving us another chain comprehension, which is woo, and this ability gives you damage against demons. Why do we really need more demon killer? Like, there's so many demon killers. At least it does give stats too, but this is definitely for new players. Chain comprehension also is kind of new for new players, but yeah, we are getting this series event. And they said there was the other thing that we're getting kind of like going along with all this is the other additional pieces of the Esper of Destruction story. And that's all they really mentioned as far as upcoming content. They did talk about some changes to Clash of Wills. So here's the first change to Clash of Wills, another update. The combined effects from other focused abilities with Focused Energy Plus and Focused Energy. So basically they're making it so that instead of having multiple abilities that do different things, you got one ability that does multiple things. The first one, it's kind of complicated, so I'm going to go slow. This is for Focused Energy Plus. Increase LB modifier 100x for 10 turns to the caster for certain damage process A or LB only. And then the other one is increase modifier 50% for 10 turns for certain certain damage process B for LB only. I don't know what that means, A and B. And then you also get mitigation 70% for 3 turns. That's for Focus Plus. And then Focus Energy is the same thing, just smaller numbers. So it's 20x, 10x, and 50% mitigation. So, yeah. I don't know. Sinzar, you had some things to say about this before we got started.
It's just so pointless in my opinion. Like, okay, so it's 70% mitigation. Like, who's doing Clash of Wills with less than 70% mitigation anyway? So it's going to do nothing. Mm-hmm. And then the second one is the barrier. It autocasts a 5k barrier per turn, or even less if you're an older focus unit. Like, who is not using the Savior's armor? Like a brand new player? Okay, yeah. Sure. But everyone's using Savior's armor. You've already got a permanent, either 5 or 10k, at the very least a 5k. And like, so these don't do anything. If they're trying to make them useful, they have to be better than what we're already using. Mm-hmm. So that barrier needed to be like 10 or 15k. That mitigation needed to be like 85%. You know, maybe you're not using Abigail on your party, so then 85% would have been useful. But 70%, and for most units, 50. It's such a nothing. It's such a nothing change.
So I will
go ahead.
Probably rally against this. I'll probably rally against this whole system until the end of the game where they get rid of it, whichever happens first. Mm-hmm. But if they're gonna keep it in, this is a slight improvement. It is if you happen to have the Focus Plus, it's better because you don't have to use Focus Plus and then the Instinct. You get them both in one. Other than that, nobody really cares.
I do like that they're lumping multiple things into one action now, as opposed to having all these skills that you can't multicast and get your actual setup going. So that's kind of cool, but it just I still feel like it's too little too late.
Yeah, because the only really specific way I could see it helps is like when I was thinking about a run I tried to do, and I thought I had something cool going, and I realized I had to take a turn for Focus Plus, and then I had to take a turn for Instinct.
Yep.
Whereas if this was already in place, that would have made my run I thought about doing possible, because now I don't have to do Instinct with Noctis anymore. Yeah. But other than that little specific instance, it's not really. I just hate the system.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I just don't like the system.
Galaxy
but,
Bro, how do you feel about
it's an improvement.
How do you feel about the system in general? Because you've not been on to discuss this with us. Like, as a casual player, how do you feel about the Focus Vertex system?
I will just point out immediately, as a casual player, I've tried getting rank 1 before, and like never been able to do it, which is fine. Ever since this new system, like with the Focused Energy and limitations and whatever, I gave up on rank 1. All I care about is just completing level 99, which ever since this new system came out, I've at least done that, and so I got an old Tazino Stone shard from it and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I don't have much to say other than, like, I remember Sinzar saying in, like, when it was first introduced, like, it's just, I don't think it's a good change to Clash of Wills. at all. It's just kind of pointless, not very well thought out. They have done things to change it, like for the better, a little bit in my opinion. Just I'm still overall not a fan of it.
Okay. Here's the second part of it. They added a barrier activation when you use Focus Plus. So you also get either a 5,000 or a 2,500 HP barrier for one turn. Awesome.
Oh, now I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at Huxley. He said the existing game Focus Energy already have 2 LB mods. They're just designated as A or B. So that makes sense for that explanation. You know the difference with partial unmitigated damage, morale scaling, consecutive use. That's probably all that means.
It probably is.
I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Why they worded it the way they worded it on that slide is just like, really goofy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so we get some updates to Clash of Wills, if you could call them that. They played a game, and they said that because Tony won the game was actually kind of fun. You get. We're all going to get some lapis and some tickets and pearls and restores and a diamond key and a wallpaper. I think what was funny about the game was that everybody was more interested in, can I buy these cards you guys are playing the game with, than they were about the lapis and stuff. Which is
I think I made a comment about them. Like, I would want them to be stickers. I would love for them to be stickers. I could just stick on my notebook or whatever. But yeah, I would love that as well. But just to have them in general pictures, like, if they're pictures, you can frame them also. So there's an option.
Yep.
Yeah, no matter what, they'd be cool to have.
I would have paid money for those cards. They were really cool. But I guess I could just like print them. But like, I want like official ones.
I was too distracted by Asura being upside down.
Oh, yes. She was totally upside down. I love it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Ashura was upside down.
Yep.
I think all the rest were right side up.
What was funny about that, though, is when Ashura was the answer and Tony picked her up, like he flipped her around, but then he put her back down backwards.
Put it right back upside down.
It was awesome. It was great. Last thing they talked about was the reaction challenge, was that the campaign period started on the 29th of February and goes until March 13th. And they said, we have actually reached all 1,000. Now, usually when they do this, they say, we're going to add another level, but they didn't say we're going to add another level. So that's kind of sad. But we did meet all the challenges, but they did say to keep on doing it if you haven't done it yet, so you can get your chance at winning a t-shirt. People do win these t-shirts. It does happen. You can be one of these people. So definitely do that. And then the last thing was that Hiroki came out and said that he apologized actually for like the fact that like the content that they have been putting out has not been kind of meeting players' expectations, and that they want to commit to doing better. So I thought that was nice. They didn't say like in what way did it not match up, or how they want to do better, but they at least said like, yeah, we hear that it's not meeting your expectations, which I thought was kind of cool. And then that was the live stream.
It was kind of cool, but now it's time for someone to go back, 7 years and do a montage of how many times that has been said.
Right. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, the reaction challenge, like, yay, we get a free Neo Vision for being members on social media.
It's gonna be Milo.
Woo.
I'm sorry.
Watch me get like, oh, who's the bane of my existence? Esther, maybe something like that.
It is the purple ones, and the purple ones, I think you can't get anybody that came out before Tyvis. So, yeah.
I know there's going to be people that are thinking, oh, look at you complaining about a good unit, but I am sick of Deity of War Tyvis at this point.
Oh, I could use 4 more of those.
I'm not going to name anybody because there's just so many, but I'll probably just pull someone I already have at EX plus 3, knowing my luck.
Not
to be that guy. I'm sorry if you guys already talked about it, but it was a comment I've been waiting to bring up.
Go ahead.
I want to find the time. Maryland's Valkyrie had asked a while back about MV plus EX3. How many units or fragments? Did you guys already say that and I just forgot it?
Actually, I did not go over it. So they did mention explicitly that you do not have to have an EX3 unit to make them NV plus.
Correct.
which I thought I
So
think is
basically,
very good.
Basically, as long as you have the Azure Pearls, EX level doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Awaken them to your heart's content.
Yeah. Well, you probably shouldn't awaken them to your heart's content. But,
Oh, well, then you end up in a position like me with my LB pots.
Yes. But if you have, like, if you've only been playing for a little while and you happen to only have EX1 Tifa, for example, you're now going to be able to have, an NV plus Tifa at EX1.
Yeah.
And also,
Sorry, Meredith.
on global,
Sorry, Meredith, it took me so long to get to that. I was trying to find a good spot.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you. Sinzar?
and something else is on global. Now, I really don't think they're going to be to the point where you have to pick and choose, but it is worth mentioning, while on JP you could farm infinite amounts of blue pearls for just energy, they're technically limited on global. You can't just farm as many as you need. Now, we don't know if they're going to be like you have to pick and choose, or can you just awaken everybody? But they're technically a limited resource on global. We don't know how limited yet, but it's not infinite.
Yeah, it's definitely, to me, I think it's a little concerning, just because, like, on the one hand, like, if you on JP, did they put those in, like, the keys where you could, like, go and play them after the event closed?
Yeah. Once the event closed, they go into the key system.
So yeah, like, on the one hand, like, you either need to farm them then or farm them later. But, like, with this, like you said, if they're only going to put them in Clash of Wills and Dark Visions and World of Visions events and Trust Coin Shop, then it makes it a lot harder for people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, their
we'll see.
disclaimer at the bottom said methods are subject to change, but
They did.
when it comes to Gumi, until I see it, I really don't care what their disclaimer say. I need to see it in the game to know what we're getting.
Yeah. Now, there's a comment in chat. Depends on the Trust Coin limit. Yes. They did say you can exchange up to 300 coins with Trust Coins, though. Or 300 pearls with Trust Coins. So that's only 1 unit's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like when it comes to that, I was waiting to see specifics too, because that could mean they're only going to limit us to 300, or you got to get them in batches of 300.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of just waiting to see how that goes.
Great question for Sinzar.
Yeah, to answer Huxley's question, do they still have Master Crown stages in JP? Yes, but they don't do Gold Crowns anymore. Like, every single Awakening is a Silver Crown, and they all have stages in JP, yes. And they do Silver Crowns every single event. Between 2 to 5 units get awakened every single event in JP, every single week. And that's why I get so frustrated on Global, because while playing JP, like, every single week we're getting between 2 and 5 new crowns for units, and Global just gives nothing, and it drives me insane.
Or we get the content, but we don't get the crowns, like with
that's what I was getting to next. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to bring up, because unless I missed the memo somewhere, yeah, I didn't see anything for Roos, because someone was asking about his weapon in one of the chats.
Yes, let's put that disclaimer out there.
What?
That his weapon, when you upgrade his weapon, it no longer activates his Trust passive. So since his shift form cannot wear his STMR and only can wear his weapon, you basically have to spend an ability slot to activate his Trust passive.
Oh, wait, seriously?
Not even just that.
I have screenshots. I submitted a ticket.
That's a bug on Global then, or a stupid change, but on JP it does work.
Yeah, no, I submitted a ticket because it seems bad. I mean, yeah, but yeah, definitely be careful.
It's not even just that. Without the upgrades, it becomes a one-handed weapon, and they didn't give us neither his true dual wield or his fury, so it objectively becomes worse for Roos without his crowns.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. Oh my god.
Yep.
What a train wreck.
Well, I mean, it's fun sometimes, right? It's fun to talk about it. It's fun to have you guys here to talk about it. It's fun to have chat here. This has been a lot of fun to do this video live with chat, just because it does add an extra layer of engagement. And obviously we don't have, 800 people watching spamming chat with like silly questions like, when are we going to get the Persona 5 collab? But like, we can at least address questions and talk about things that are, coming up with people. So that's fun. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us.
Well, Gert, when are we getting the Chrono Trigger collab?
You'll get the Chrono Trigger collab as soon as Xyle NVA gets released. Okay.
Maryland, I got you on time this time.
Yes.
What is the value of 3 or 4 star units? Because basically they're just in the way. Now we can trade them for those Azure Pearls we were just talking about a minute ago. So you've probably been selling them like I have. It's time to start fusing them and exchanging them for trust coins. So a little more extra work for us, but they actually have a purpose now.
Yep. SXM, where's your Luca? Oh, look, I tried. Okay. I tried. When I knew you cared, I tried to vote, and we just didn't get the votes. You know? I tried voting for Luca, I tried voting for Mercedes, and it didn't work. I'm sorry. Alrighty, though.
Man, Lady M asked about FMA collab. That was before MV Plus, so if they were to try to do it now, Global will have to do some exclusive stuff with it.
I don't know when Cafe Charlotte is coming, okay?
I was just about to mention, here's a comment from Huxley, like, Cafe Charlotte.
Oh, Persona 5. I don't understand what everybody's so into Persona about. Anyways, it's, we haven't quite hit the full, hour and 20 or so minutes that they gave us, but we also didn't dig into all the story stuff that they went into during the part where they had the scenario writer on. So I'm still gonna call this a win. I'm gonna say that we still talked longer than they did, and we had a good time doing it. So for everybody who's been hanging out in chat, thank you so much for being here, and tell your friends, and maybe we'll do this again sometime. I think the live format was fun, and for you guys who came to be guests, I always appreciate having you here. It's always a blast to talk about the game with people who care about the game.
Indeed. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you having us here.
Good deal. So we're going to call it there, and we will let everybody have a good night, and we will see you all in the news stuff on Tuesday. That's it. Good night, guys. Thanks, chat.
Later.
All right, y'all take care.